Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're heading back, way back, over 2,000 years, into some really extraordinary ancient wisdom,
We are. We're looking at the Therīgāthā.
which translates to Songs of the Elder Nuns, right?
Exactly. And these aren't just, dusty old poems. These are powerful, direct accounts of liberation from some of the earliest Buddhist nuns. Real voices, real experiences.
And we're focusing today on a specific part, the seven Sattanipāto. So our mission here is to really unpack the journeys these women went through. We want to pull out the key wisdom, the sort of surprising insights, and figure out what these ancient voices can actually teach us today about overcoming difficulties, finding peace.
It's less about history class and more about, well, these timeless human experiences of transformation.
Exactly. It's about what their breakthroughs reveal. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, it's truly amazing stuff. The Therīgāthā, you have to remember, was pretty radical for its time.
Why is that?
Because it's a whole collection of verses by women who didn't just practice Buddhism, they reached the absolute highest levels of spiritual attainment, enlightenment.
Wow.
And these aren't just like nice verses about faith, they're declarations, bold statements of profound personal change, of genuine freedom from suffering.
So they're first-hand accounts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Primary sources, it gives us this incredibly rare, unfiltered look into the spiritual lives and, frankly, the achievements of these early Buddhist women.
And one of the first voices we encounter here is Paṭācārā. Her verses, around 178 onwards, seem to lay out such a clear path, almost step by step.
Yes, that's what's fascinating here. It's this clear, almost methodical description of her spiritual breakthrough.
How does she start?
She talks about starting with something very simple, very external.
Washing her feet.
Okay, washing your feet. So literal or...
Could be literal, but it often symbolizes, purification, preparing the mind and body for deep meditation, getting ready.
Right, setting the stage.
I just-
Exactly. And then the journey moves inward. It gets deeper. She says, in the first watch of the night, she remembered her past lives.
Okay, past lives. That sounds intense.
It is. It's the first of what Buddhism calls the threefold knowledge, Tevijja. A deep insight into the continuity of existence, cause, and effect across lifetimes.
And it progresses from there.
Yes. In the middle watch of the night, she talks about purifying the divine eye,
The divine eye.
Kagakaku. It's about developing this heightened perception, seeing beyond the surface, understanding how beings arise and pass away according to their karma. That's the second knowledge.
So deeper insights are unfolding as she meditates through the night.
Precisely. And then comes the climax. In the last watch of the night, she says she shattered the massive darkness.
The massive darkness, that sounds powerful.
It's incredibly powerful. It's not literal darkness, of course. It's a metaphor for ignorance avijja, the root cause of all suffering in Buddhist thought.
So shattering, that means.
Achieving enlightenment, complete liberation, understanding reality perfectly. That's the third and final knowledge.
Wow. So she's basically mapping out this disciplined, progressive path from a simple act to completely unraveling ignorance.
Exactly. It's not just her story. It's like a blueprint. It shows transformation often requires this methodical, step-by-step focus. Discipline, introspection.
And the result is becoming untainted, anasava, free from all defilements. It sounds like a total inner victory. She even mentions defeating Sakka or Indra. That's not a literal fight, I assume.
No, definitely not literal. Sakka, or Indra, the king of the gods in Vedic lore, often represents worldly power, desires, maybe even the limits of conventional reality itself.
So defeating him is symbolic.
Highly symbolic. It signifies overcoming all those internal obstacles, vanquishing the forces of delusion, attachment, ego. It's the ultimate inner victory over suffering. Complete mastery.
That's a really potent image. Okay, so from Paikara's intense, methodical journey, we shift to Uttarā.
Yes, Uttarā.
Her verses also start with this strong sense of attainment. She talks about mindfulness, developed faculties, realizing the peaceful state.
Right. She's clearly achieved a significant level of insight already.
But then there's this really interesting bit where someone challenges her, asks her about her appearance, why are you shaven like an ascetic? And even says, you do not approve of sex.
It's a direct confrontation.
So what's going on there? How does she handle that?
This is where it gets really interesting. Her response is incredibly direct and clarifies her understanding of the Dhamma, the truth.
What does she say?
She basically says that those outside sects, the ones clinging to views, they just don't know the Dhamma. They don't get it.
So clinging to specific doctrines is the problem.
That's exactly her point. She implies that holding rigidly to any particular view, any specific sect's interpretation, actually blocks true understanding.
And she contrasts that with her own path.
Yes. She explicitly mentions the Buddha, born in the Sakya clan, peerless, who taught her something crucial: the transcendence of views.
Transcendence of views. So going beyond fixed ideas altogether.
Precisely. It's not about finding the right view, but about developing direct experiential wisdom that goes beyond all conceptual frameworks.
And what is the core teaching she points to then?
Well, she lays out the absolute foundation of the Buddha's teaching: suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the Noble Eightfold Path leading to the cessation of suffering.
The Four Noble Truths.
The bedrock.
The absolute bedrock. She's saying this is the Dhamma, not allegiance to a particular group or philosophical stance.
And how does her story conclude? Does she reach that same level as Paṭācārā?
She does. She explicitly states she's attained the threefold knowledge, Therīgāthā again, that knowledge of past lives, the divine eye, and the destruction of all mental taints.
Okay.
She declares she's completed the Buddhist teaching, done what needed to be done.
And then there's that challenge.
Yes, that triumphant proclamation.
Yep.
It's amazing. She says, joy is destroyed everywhere, the mass of darkness is shattered. Sound familiar? Echoes of Upacālā, shattering the darkness.
Exactly. And then she addresses Mara directly, the personification of temptation, delusion, death.
The evil one.
Right. She says, know this, evil one, you are defeated, O death. This is an incredibly bold declaration of complete spiritual victory, total freedom.
So Uttara's journey really emphasizes moving beyond sectarianism, beyond just intellectual views, to the core experiential truths taught by the Buddha.
Absolutely. It's about personal discovery, not just accepting doctrine.
Okay, following this thread, we then come to Cālā, another nun, similar opening statement about mindfulness and attainment.
Yes, Cālā. Her verses also start strongly. Bhikkhuni Bhavatindriya, a nun with developed faculties.
But the challenge she faces is different. Someone asks her, essentially, why don't you like being born? Being born means you get to enjoy sensual pleasures. Enjoy life. Don't regret missing out later.
Right. It's a very direct appeal to worldly enjoyment. A common temptation, you could say.
How does Cālā respond to that?
Her response is just stark.
Yeah.
And incredibly direct. She doesn't pull any punches.
What does she say?
She says, for one who is born, there is death. Simple as that. Then she adds, cutting off of hands and feet. One who is born incurs suffering.
Wow. That's blunt.
It is. She's pointing straight at the inherent suffering, the dukkha, tied up with existence itself. Birth inevitably leads to sickness, old age, death, loss. She's rejecting the premise that sensual pleasure is the ultimate goal or payoff.
She sees the bigger picture, the whole cycle.
Exactly. And like Uttarā, she grounds her understanding in the Buddhist teaching. She mentions the undefeated Sambuddha from the Sakya clan.
Who taught her?
Who taught her the transcendence of birth, not just overcoming suffering within life, but overcoming the whole cycle of birth and death itself.
And does she also mention the Four Noble Truths?
Yes, she does. Verse 193 lays them out again. Suffering, its origin, its cessation, the path. It's the same core teaching.
Okay, so the foundation is identical. And her conclusion?
It's remarkably similar to Uttara's, almost word for word in parts. She declares she's achieved the threefold knowledge, completed the Buddhist teaching,
and confronts Mara.
Yes, that same powerful declaration, joy destroyed everywhere, the mass of darkness shattered, and the same direct address. Know this, evil one, you are defeated, O death.
So Cālā's focus is really on confronting the fundamental unsatisfactoriness of existence itself, even its pleasures, as the motivation for seeking liberation.
Right. It's this unvarnished look at reality that fuels her path, facing the truth of suffering head on, not trying to just find temporary happiness within it.
So what does this all mean then? We've looked at Paṭācārā, Uttarā, Cālā. These seem like quite different personal stories and challenges.
They're different contexts, different personalities maybe.
But the outcomes, the core declarations, are strikingly similar. What are those common threads we're seeing?
Well, the most obvious ones are these recurring achievements, the attainment of the threefold knowledge, that deep, comprehensive insight.
Right. Past lives, divine eye, destruction of defilements.
Yes. Then there's the shattering of the mass of darkness, that powerful metaphor for overcoming ignorance.
And finally, that direct confrontation with Mara, or death, the evil one, declaring victory over those internal forces.
Exactly. Papima, Antaka, whatever name they use, it represents that ultimate freedom from the forces that bind us to suffering and rebirth.
So what's the significance of seeing these diverse paths lead to such a common pinnacle of attainment?
I think that's where the real aha moments can happen for us, listening now.
Yeah.
These women's individual experiences, their unique struggles, they all converge on the same universal spiritual truths.
It wasn't just one way to get there.
No. And their direct, hands-on, experiential understanding of suffering and how to end it. That's what made them such powerful figures. They weren't just repeating doctrines, they knew it from their own journey.
And for us today, how does this connect?
Well, I think these ancient stories offer these timeless insights, don't they, into our own struggles, our own search for transformation and freedom. They show that while your path might look different from someone else's, the core discoveries about overcoming those inner obstacles, about finding genuine peace, seem to be universal constants across time.
That's a powerful takeaway. What an incredible deep dive this has been. Just hearing these clear, strong voices from the Therīgāthā. It really does feel like a shortcut to understanding some profound declarations from, a very long time ago.
It does, and maybe this raises an important question for you listening.
Okay.
How do these ancient declarations of liberation, achieved through such deep personal insight into suffering and the way out, how does that resonate with your own understanding of well-being, of freedom, of the challenges you face in your own life today?
That's a good question to sit with.
Yeah. Consider how these women, through these really quite detailed accounts, aren't just giving us history. They might be offering a kind of timeless blueprint for inner peace, something to really mull over